Good morning. This is Miriam from Keto My Way. Please forgive me for the long absence. I had some very sad situation in my family. My sister died last Monday. She was ill for a long time. She had cancer, and we did expect the end to come by the spring because she was chemo resistant, but an emergency situation made it all happen very, very fast. On December 9th, she went into the emergency room, and we were all called on that Sunday morning, which was the 10th, and told she had 12 hours to 3 days to live. So I flew out there that very morning, followed the next day by a brother and the next day by another brother. I expected to stay there about 3 days. We ended up staying until maybe December 20th, and I just had to go home. I was packed for 3 days, and laundry aside, which was available, we would leave for the hospital at 6 in the morning and return at 8 at night. And it was just, I hadn't expected to be away from home for so long, so I came home for a couple of days and flew out again Christmas, December 25th. By then she was in hospice. And again, we expected just a few days, but she just fought a battle there. I was going to stay until the end, until we realized we didn't know what the end was going to be. So I came home on a Wednesday, followed by another brother who went home on Saturday, and she passed away on on a Monday of this past week. And we flew her body here and had the funeral Friday. So that's why I was away. And let me just say, I could have done my videos from there, and it may have meant a lot to people to show that I did manage to stay keto through all the hospital cafeteria food and all the snacks. I mean, you get to a point where, they're changing the bed, or they have to do something, and you go, oh, I'll go down to the cafeteria. I mean, what is there to do spending 12, 13, 14 hours in a hospital? Of course, I had my iPad and I had everything with me, but your brain is sort of fried and you can't do anything. And then I thought that, I had salads. I did the keto thing, and part of me said, oh, this would be interesting to post so that when people are in a crisis and they're away from home and maybe they're very nervous or depressed, maybe they're facing hospital food, I can show that it can be done, but it just didn't seem respectful of what we were going through with my sister to make it all about the diet. So let me just very briefly tell you, I ate hospital food, mostly salads. They had a fantastic salad bar. They're better than even I've ever seen at Whole Foods. So I had salad every day, and I loaded it with feta cheese, and they usually had the day before's lunch as part of the salad bar. So if they served pot roast, there'd be shaved beef, and if they served chicken the day before, there'd be chicken on the salad bar. So I did protein. I think 1 or 2 days they had a nice grill, so I had a hamburger grilled without the bun and all of the fixings. Drank a lot of Perrier, a lot of, I have to say, Diet Coke, tea. Hot beverages just didn't taste so good from the hospital, even though it was just boiled water. So I did a lot of bottled and canned stuff. Once she went into hospice, we were home a little bit more because she lived very close to hospice. The hospital was about an hour away, so once we went first thing in the morning, my brother tried to get there for 7 o'clock rounds in the morning. So once we were there in the morning, we were there, until it was time at 8 o'clock saying, oh, what do you want to do for dinner? So those were long days. Once she was in hospice, it was a little easier. Every morning I had my coffee with heavy whipping cream. Again, salads, burgers with no buns, that sort of thing. And I made it through. I did not lose weight on the scale. And that's okay. Under these circumstances, you would think I would have come home 20 pounds heavier, and that didn't happen. So I was happy with that. It sort of put, I was going to say it put things in perspective. While this was all happening, I said, oh, when I get home, and of course I didn't know when she was going to pass or when the funeral was going to be or anything. But I says, when this is all over, I'm going to really take stock of my life, and I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to exercise, and I'm really going to make sure I do what I have to do. And if, under a crisis, everything else looks like what you should be doing. But back to normal, back to a routine. I will share something I got today. I found these at the supermarket. I know when I do this on my iPad, things aren't backwards, but I know they're backwards here, but this is what they look like. They are 4-pack salami snack cups by a company called Bussetto, Busseto. It is 13 protein and 10 grams of fat and 1 carbohydrate. And so I got a couple of packs of these to bring with me, because this week is my first week back to work. My last day of work was December 8th, and my first day back was January 8th, and I was only in for a couple of days, and then we had the funeral. So this is really my first day back. And then this is my salad. This is the same as that deconstructed salad I had been getting, but this is a side portion. And I had this a couple of times, and I thought it was sufficient, especially with the salami. And I also put avocado and radishes, and I'll add the salad on top of that. And then I wanted to show you, this particular salad comes with this lemon and shallot vinaigrette. This is by Cindy's Kitchen, which is great if you can find it in your area. I have to look at, I think the carbs for this is maybe 1, maybe 2, I'll check. So I'm going to have that with the salami and my sparkling water. I got used to drinking water while I was there. And so what can I tell you? Also, I found a new tracking program. You all know how resistant I am to tracking, but I was if I had eaten more mindfully in California, I probably would have lost weight because I was keto all the way, but I was eating even when I was hungry. I told you we went down to the cafeteria, and I had a big salad, and maybe about 3 or 4, and I knew I wasn't going to be having dinner or going home for dinner. So about 3 or 4, I went down, and I don't even know what I had. Maybe they had the packages of salami and cheese that come packaged in packages like this. So I would get a salami and cheese, and then maybe 8 or 9 o'clock, my brother would say, "Oh, what do you want for dinner?" And sometimes I said nothing. Sometimes I ate again. When I was there, when I went again at Christmas, and my brother's girlfriend came out with me because we were sadly emptying the condo. She hadn't passed yet, but we knew she wasn't coming home. And so Thadine and I would go out and have a 2-hour lunch or a 2-hour dinner because we just needed a break from everything. And then I had coffee in the morning, and then that was my meal. And then we didn't eat again. But then Saturday of that week, or maybe Friday, my brother came out again. And so I would eat because I was hungry at 2 or 3 o'clock, and then at 7 or 8 or 9, it was like, well, what's for dinner? And so I was eating. I mean, nobody forced me, but I sat and I ate. So I was eating too much. And so then I said, well, I'd like to track a little bit at the beginning of the year and just see where things are. I always lose weight when I track. So, but I just don't like MyFitnessPal. So another coaching client, they had posed the question on the coaching client's Facebook page, and it was just generally, what do you use for tracking? And a lot of people use different things. Using my hands too much. And one of them came up with something called Carb Manager, and I went in and I used it. I used the free features, and I liked it a lot. If anyone's ever used Lose It, it's sort of like that with the pictures, and I don't know, it's just more homey than MyFitnessPal. And I also liked that once you use a food, you can delete it from your food vocabulary. Like with MyFitnessPal, I had like 10 pages of foods that I don't eat anymore, and I just didn't like it. And also with Carb Manager, that users do load their own things. Like they so happened they had these salami cups, but if they didn't and I put it in and I loaded it, but the difference between that and MyFitnessPal is that an administrator will check everything, and it doesn't get posted to the community until they're sure that the count is correct. So I like that the database is there. You can put your blood glucose readings 20 times a day if you want to. You can put your ketone readings. I just like it very, very much. And I said to my coach, I says, well, it's fun until it isn't. So I'm going to do that tracking. I did buy these salads for the week and my salami cups. I had Monday yesterday as a holiday off. So I had to come up with 4 lunches. So I bought 4 salads, and there's 4 cups here. And I bought 2 avocados so I could have a half each day. So anyway, I do like the Carb Manager. I didn't have to, but I made an executive decision to do net carbs with the Carb Manager instead of the total carbs, but I'm keeping it very low. I'm keeping the net carbs to 20 or less to account for things. Because on MyFitnessPal, you can put in net carbs for avocado or something, and it'll come up with the 2. But on this one, you put in your carbs. It also does total carbs, so I can look at both. But I've told my coach I feel like the noose is loosened a little bit by doing that. Even though I'm doing very few, there's just something psychological about net, and I'm going to do that for a while with the tracking. So anyway, listen, I know I'm very quiet and very tired, but I did want to check in and explain why I've been away for a month. Did keto successfully. Not totally successfully, because then I wouldn't have eaten when I wasn't hungry. But in terms of the foods and having made it through Christmas and all the foods, and I flew out there Christmas, and the nurses at hospice, of course, had the brownies and the cookies and the cakes, and it was all of that. And I said, just no thank you. Here I have control over my life, and my sister didn't. And in that respect, yes, it did make an impact on me. So anyway, listen, I see this is running long, so I am going to check in with you tomorrow, but just wanted to say hello and Happy New Year to everybody. Keto my way.